This video is sponsored by Smite, the online battleground of the gods. Sign up and play for free now using the link in the description below. Enjoy. Hello again, YouTube. This is Dr.Kendo. Before we get to today's creation in Scribblenauts Unlimited, I wanted to show off some footage of an amazing game called Smite, who's actually sponsoring this episode, of course, as you just heard in the beginning. So please check out some of the footage here. And what is Smite? Well, Smite is the online battleground of the gods where players choose from basically a big, diverse cast of gods, and each one has their own unique powers and abilities that you'll be using to triumph over the opposition in team matches of 5v5. The game is actually, it's kind of similar to Dota or Dota 2 if you've played those games, so it's a new take on the MOBA genre though, because unlike Dota and Dota 2, rather than observing the action from the top, above it all, the game is actually in a third-person perspective, as you can see, and so you almost have that MMORPG kind of feel while you're doing MOBA gameplay. So yes, you pick a god and become a god, choosing from a list of some well-known and some more obscure gods out there. Each of them has their own history and special abilities, as I said before, a unique playstyle to them. And as you master those abilities, the two teams of 5 will battle it out in this Inferno-themed setting, basically trying to get to the end of the other team's base, in essence, you could say in simple terms. And basically your objective is to slay the Minotaur of the other teams. And everything that affects the gameplay in Smite can be earned simply by playing the game, so it's free to play, free to download, and you'll have access to an initial set of playable gods for free, while additional gods can be unlocked through gameplay time, or if you want to get to them more quickly, you can do that through microtransactions. There are multiple game modes and multiple ways to play, so go ahead and check out the link in the description and try out the game for yourself. And as you probably noticed, the gameplay footage that I just had on screen centers on 2 of the deities. I just kind of did gameplay footage from 2 gods that I thought were pretty amazing. So here we are in Scribblenauts, and I'm going to create those 2 gods. That would be Fenrir and Anubis. So let's see, who should we start off with? We'll start out with Anubis, and that's actually a character that is, of course, a mythological Egyptian god and everything. There is lore associated with that in real life, I guess you could say. So they do have an Anubis in Scribblenauts Unlimited. You're seeing it right now. That's what we're starting off with the source object here. And I've just taken the pattern library. I'll make sure to show a comparison so that you guys can see kind of what Smite's Anubis looks like, and then this Anubis that I'm going to be creating. I'm going to try to create it like the Smite Anubis. So we are taking a kobold for the leg. Anubis has these kind of in Smite. He's got these bent legs. You know, they bend backwards. And so we need to make them a little bit bigger. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't look to scale. And Anubis has this like darkish blue-gray skin almost. So I'm going to reflect that, and I wanted different arms, so I'm actually going to use a werewolf, which we're going to be using a little bit later on, but you'll see that in the object to come. So the werewolf will actually give us better arms and hand shape. It was mostly for the hands that I wanted it to have these black claws and things like that. But Anubis is great. I mean, this is a ranged hero in the game Smite, and so I am actually going to make a separate item staff for it to have basically a ranged attack. We're going to name it Smite Anubis so that you don't have to type in Anubis and pick from the Scribblenauts original Anubis default or your creation. But now let me read you a little bit of fun facts about Smite's Anubis and how he is in the game, basically. Anubis is the god of the dead and is commonly depicted with a jackal's head and a man's body. In the game Smite, his look and abilities are inspired by old Egyptian lore, which I think is incredible, and they really reflected that in the look of those abilities. His first ability is Plague of Locusts, in which a plague of locusts bellows forth from Anubis's mouth, dealing damage in an area for about 3 seconds. And this is why I'm going to script our Scribblenauts creation for Anubis to shoot a projectile of a small dark green locust after he's been attacked. His second ability in the game is Mummify, where he fires a bandage projectile that mummifies and stuns his target. Then, Anubis' third ability is called Grasping Hands, and it looks incredibly cool in the game. He calls for some help down from the underworld, and these hands break through the ground up to the surface and start clawing at enemies, doing damage, and it even has a slowing effect for about 2 seconds. To see the remaining Anubis skills or abilities, please check out the Smite website in the description, or better yet, use the link there to sign up and play for free. So that all looks good. Let's quickly move on to the next hero. We're going to start off with a werewolf as the source object, and this would be for Fenrir. So I picked a ranged hero with Anubis, and now I'm picking a melee hero with Fenrir. And the werewolf, basically, Fenrir does stand on his two legs and whatnot, but when he starts running faster, then he goes on all fours. So we're kind of having the one that stands up on two legs, with our werewolf here as the source object in Scribblenauts. And this is an exciting character to me. I mean, I love wolves for one, but just the fact that he looks so epic, you know what I mean? We're taking an Archaeopteryx right now. It's basically this prehistoric bird, dinosaur-looking thing. And I'm taking the leg of it. We're going to basically use lots of little pointy shapes like this, like a caltrop. I used that, I spelled it wrong. Okay, a caltrop. I've used this before with my creation of GLaDOS from Portal, so maybe you'll remember that, maybe you won't. But we're coloring it with this pattern from the pattern library that sort of looks lava-ish, I hope, because that's what I'm trying to accomplish. Just basically, Fenrir, kind of has these almost veins and stuff on his arms that are all lava, magma-looking. I mean, he looks incredible, so hopefully our creation here can even compare to Smite's Fenrir. The ears, I just put in a fang right on the inner part of the ears, facing in either direction, and of course gave them kind of that lava-looking color pattern as well. So of course, I read the background information and fun facts, and I did it for Anubis, so why not go ahead and do that for Fenrir as well? So here we go. Fenrir is a Norse god, also to be known as the Unbound, because once the mortals had binded the beast known as Fenrir, despite the prophecy's warning that he would tear their homes apart. It is unknown how, but Fenrir has become unbound, and it can be said that the terror now roams free. He's an amazing melee character in the game Smite, and he has many abilities to show off his brutal and terrifying nature. Abilities like his first, called Unchained, in which he leaps forward dealing damage to all enemies once he lands. He gains more and more power as he attacks, where every hit he does activates one rune, with up to a maximum of 5 being activated at once. And this is actually why I'm going to script him to add the adjective powerful whenever he collides with runes, or it'll probably be stones or some broader category in Scribblenauts. Anyway, he also has an ability called Seething Howl, where he rears back and lets out a huge howl, which gives him great physical power for one, and increases his lifesteal buff. Of course, he has many other abilities, many other cool things about the hero, only of which you can find out, again, if you go research or play the game yourself. All those links are in the description or in the annotations in this video. But I think he's amazing, and that's why I've kind of chosen some of my favorite melee heroes and some of my favorite ranged heroes and picked out, one of each to do for this video. And alright, we're gonna take them now onto the field. I'm gonna have Fenrir take on a skeleton warrior, and that was way fast because I think our Fenrir is powerful. I have him actually slated to become powerful basically whenever he walks near runes, as I mentioned before. So I'm gonna make this strong skeleton warrior that still died to Fenrir's might. I mean, hey, these are gods. They come from the game Smite, full of gods. Really, I think only gods could take on the gods. So who knows if anything is actually going to be able to present a good challenge to our creations here. So let's go ahead and just type in Smite Anubis. And there we go. There is our Anubis character. I hope, I didn't mention actually the Anubis. I hope you noticed that he has the fangs underneath his head. And oh gosh, it looks like Fenrir is just owning up. I mean, he's got the powerful adjective on. So maybe I need to give Anubis his actual weapon. But first, just so you guys can see, before we do the test again of the battle, let's have Anubis fight the skeleton warrior and whatnot. There, before I give him the staff, hopefully you also noticed there was his projectile of the locust. That's one of the moves that Anubis has in the game Smite. So here we go. Let's type in Anubis staff and we'll give it to him. And I have it shooting out lettuce. I mean, that's only because I just wanted some kind of green ball shape. In the game, you can see, especially from the footage that I showed earlier on, Anubis shoots out this sort of green ball. So here's our Anubis with the staff. Let's make him go ahead and fight an evil skeleton warrior. There we go. And so again, the staff thing, it shoots out these 4 lettuce blocks or whatever, and it looks powerful enough and hopefully close enough to the actual Anubis from Smite's attack. So hopefully hopefully that doesn't look cheesy in this game. It was hard to find a green thing that matched. I probably could find something if I had a lot of time to go and look through it and whatnot, but that was sort of a my gut reaction of what we could use as a projectile. And so I've dropped a rune next to our Fenrir to make him more powerful, and it looks like he is still gonna beat Anubis even after Anubis has his weapon. So I'm gonna go ahead and edit some of Anubis's stats and make it a little bit closer of a match, I would say. There we go, let's give that a try. He's got more health now. Hopefully that works out. And it's amazing because, you know, usually characters with a ranged attack in this game, they keep others at bay, you know, so if they're a melee character. So it looks like Fenrir is having no trouble breaking through that. So unfortunately for Anubis, it looks like no matter what, he is going to be the loser in the Scribblenauts battle. But you know what? When you go and play the game Smite, you should have a fair shot at beating Fenrir if you are playing as Anubis, or vice versa, of course, whoever you choose. And there are so many other gods to choose from, so please go check out this game. It's awesome. And so I appreciate your attention in this matter, and for considering Smite. Definitely let me know if you have questions about it, and I'll catch you guys on the next vid, which is coming up in just a few days on Sunday. So you've had a Scribblenauts jam-packed week, I know. So, thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives as the spectacle begins. I've been down the road